Have you lost your job? Have you lost a loved one? Are you exhausted caring for your parents, for your kids? Well, you can find immediate relief when you read Sheila Mack's new #1 bestseller, Bootstraps and Bra Straps. It contains the Boots formula to move from rock bottom back into action in any situation, especially right now. If life has knocked you down, pick yourself up with Bootstraps and Bra Straps. Get your copy at www.sheilamack.com today.
Are you ready for a reboot? Welcome to the Sheila Mack Show, reality at its finest. History reminds us those hit hardest often become the change makers. This year, we've all hit crazy economic, social, and emotional rock bottoms. We all get knocked down. Something hits globally, locally, personally. It affects our health, finances, our relationships. We have to recreate a business or career. Each show, Sheila and her special guest will be sharing their reboot stories, guiding you with real solutions to upgrade and up-level emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Here on NBC's KCAA Radio, Mondays at 1 and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Time. If you're ready to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and bra straps, enjoy a listen. Here's Sheila.
Welcome to the Sheila Mack Show, reality at its finest. Here we have real people sharing real stories and actionable steps to help you reinvent, rebuild, and reboot your business and personal life on your terms. I'm your host, Sheila Mack, and today we have special guest Michael Soller. He is the owner and master dog trainer of Blue Line K-9 Incorporated, located in Harford County, Maryland. In the past 12 years, Michael has helped over 3,000 dogs and their families develop better relationships through training and canine-based activities. Michael focuses on dogs' natural desires to please their people and uses proven methods across a wide variety of platforms to ensure a consistent and desired outcome based on each individual family's unique needs. And Michael developed his own unique training methods based on proven psychology methods such as classical conditioning. And he also especially enjoys working with dogs and was honored to share a portion of his police officer career with a very special partner, Canine Sam. All right, so welcome to the show, Michael.
It's so weird hearing about myself. I'm going to be honest. It's the there's like so many weird details that you know that are missing or you want to add, and then you realize you're like, I don't want to be that guy either.
Yes.
It's unique. So thanks for having me on the show. I'm really looking forward to talking to you and your guest about the year and how we can really get all ahead, right? Yeah.
And, my show is based on my new best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. And this year, globally, we have been hit with just about every situation. So I'd like to start off by asking you a question about maybe sharing a time in your life, in your business or personal life, where you hit a tough situation and how you got back on track.
Yeah. So, I mean, just to give you like a little bit of an idea, I'm 37 years old and I've actually gone through a lot of ups and downs throughout my life. Coming from, I grew up in northern New Jersey and started my first company at 16 years old. I sold it, became a Marine, combat veteran, started a police career, so many things. But I really think this year is the year for so much to really discuss. And when we think about the question that you asked is going from a difficult time into a successful time in business, this would be that year. And I think this year, the story I have to tell has to be with the COVID-19 lockdown, shutdown, and state restrictions, because Blue Line K-9 is was an in-home dog training company. We would go to people's homes and customize the dog training program, working one-on-one with people in their home. And February this year, that stopped.
Yeah.
The state said no. Never mind the state saying no. We said no. People said no. We were scared. We didn't know what this virus was. We didn't know what to do. So now I had at the time, I had a staff of 10, and we had to turn around and we had to figure out, like, all right, well, do we return everybody's money? Do we shut the doors? What do we do? This is a major loss. We did group training. We did in-home private custom lessons. We were going to people's homes, working one-on-one with their dog. Now we couldn't go to people's homes. You had to keep 6 feet distance. We didn't know anything about this. So essentially, as far as we thought at that time, we're done. We're out of business. We couldn't sell it. Well, this is where the story changes, because in 30 days, and I'm telling you, we were shut down. I went home. I was depressed. I talked to my managers. I talked to my staff. The only thing we immediately refunded all the money for our group classes, and because we didn't know when we would ever be able to do it again. So we immediately sent that money home, and we had to debate what we were going to do with everybody that we owed the one-on-one lessons to. So I went home that night and woke up the next morning, and my wife will tell you that it was this craziest morning she ever saw, because I literally jumped out of bed, and I wear cowboy boots all the time. I wear cowboy boots all the time. And she said, I jumped out of bed, threw my pants on, threw my cowboy boots on. I kissed her on her forehead, and I told her I would see her when I figure it out.
Wow.
So I went downstairs to my office, and I immediately started working on Dog Owner University. Dog Owner University now took all of our customized in-home dog training and put it online. So now we were able to virtually train your dog from beginning to end with our virtual dog training. Then we started doing Coaching Unleashed, where you can work with me virtually online, sending me videos of your dog, so we can still get that one-on-one experience in your home. And you wouldn't believe this, but in a 45-day turn, we turned our business from going out of business to one of the largest growths we ever had and this year's not even over. We went from making a $400,000 a year gross income to where we are now closing in on $890,000. And this is in less than 9 months.
Wow.
And the reason for that is because instead of changing our business, we made it more custom to our clients. We adjusted it. Instead of saying, hey, our business is done, we decided that we were going to get together. We put our programs online. We figured out better ways of teaching. We went to the books and really got into psychology. And you're not going to believe this, but our virtual dog training, where we're able to have videos sent to us of the dogs in their natural home without the trainers, is giving us better abilities to teaching our clients, because we get to see the dog without the mixture of the person, me, right? Like, I don't live in your house. So what we actually figured out is, for all these years, we've been doing it wrong.
Wow.
Because when I come to your home, your dog starts listening because I'm a professional dog trainer.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
So
yes.
it doesn't help you. You're not the professional, right? So we now figured out, by you sending us these videos, we can now take the time to educate you on how to adjust your life, or adjust what you need to adjust in your home. And I mean, you would be surprised to find out with the videos and the results we've had now with our clients, because when they send us these videos, we're able to tell them, well, if you move this furniture over here, everything goes away. And when we come to your house, you've already cleaned up, right? You changed the way you do things. You've warned the dog that the dog trainer is coming. The dogs are not silly. They know what's going on. There's literally a scientific thing called the Clever Hans effect, where the dogs have proven that they study you so that they know when you're leaving, because they know when you put your shoes on, they know when you put your keys. So like, your dog knows when you're watching television versus when you're going for a ride, because you don't go and grab your car keys when you're going to make dinner. Well, your dog is paying attention to all that.
Yes.
So,
that's true.
right. So when we come to people's houses, we didn't realize it, because people were like so happy with the results. But now, because of COVID, because of this restriction, we were able to take all of this knowledge and literally pass it on in a new way, through Zoom, through our virtual online university. And even here at our new locations, we were able to open a location in Raleigh, North Carolina. And we were actually even able to expand here in Harford County to our second location, where we're able to take your dog, train them during a day, and then give you lessons one-on-one, still keeping the social distance and keeping people healthy during this COVID time. So this has been an amazing year for us to go from where we were going to close the doors
Yes.
to one of the largest growths possible in the literally 15 years of our existence in this business. And the amazing thing has been the results. We were literally just talking about it just before I signed on this show to be interviewed by you tonight. We just finished our podcast called Dog Talk, which we do every Tuesday night at 7 p.m., where we give free dog training tips and advice on our show. But tonight we decided to make dog biscuits for Thanksgiving. So what we did on our show is we made custom little dog biscuits for all the dogs that we have here at our facility. And we gave everybody the recipe at home to go ahead and celebrate Thanksgiving with their dogs, making homemade pumpkin dog treats. So we just thought it was a really neat thing. Yeah.
It is nice. I love that.
Yeah. So I think that's the story that best fits, right?
That is incredible. And that's so good. I mean, I think about, I kind of thought I was done with pets myself. And honestly, my kids were grown and in school, college, dorms, and above. And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to have pets because I'm traveling so much. And I was on a speaking tour, a book tour before all this happened. And now I just do everything online.
Yeah.
And also, in that time frame, 2 of my kids came home because the dorms closed. So college is closed. So now they're home again. Yeah. And my daughter was like, I want to have a dog. And I was like, you want a dog? We just finished dogs and cats. And they all passed away and we loved them. And I have plaques of the dogs and cats we had because they were so much a part of our family. But I was kind of done. and then we hear, okay, now we're going to go into this lockdown completely. And it was a great time because what else are you going to do but work with a dog and play with a dog? You get lots of hugs and love from a dog. And the other one wanted cats. So we have cats and a dog now. And it was a transition because a different time. And we got a bigger dog. We had little dogs before. We had 2 little teeny tiny dogs that you could put in a basket, 3 and 5 pounds.
Yeah.
And those are different dogs. Then now I have a beautiful golden doodle.
Okay.
And so she's great, but she's still a puppy. She's barely going to be 8 months. So, and we got her quite early on. And so it's been like a newborn baby at first and going through all those steps and learning. She does know. Yeah. She knows when I'm going to leave the house. She knows.
That's right.
Start freaking out because she knows I'm getting ready. I'm getting my bag ready. I'm getting my keys. I'm getting everything ready to go to the studio.
That's right.
Upset. And she'll know when she's in trouble. When she's done, she knows she's done something wrong. The other day, I don't know.
That's one thing we're going to have to contradict you on. Oh. So, yeah, that's a big one. So that's a big thing where a lot of people misinterpret where we're using human thought processes in our animals. So dogs don't realize that they did something wrong or that they're in trouble. What the truth be told is we have to look at psychological systems and where it comes from. So there's a study called the Clever Hans effect. And the Clever Hans effect is about Clever Hans. It was a horse that was able to tell math. And it was this true story. You could check it out. It's really a neat little thing to think about. It happened in 1890, I believe it was 1895. The gentleman would take his horse into like the town square in Germany, and he would ask the horse questions. 2 + 2, and the horse would click his hoof. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wow.
And this horse they would say, what day of the week is Wednesday? And we click 1, 2, 3, right? And they were like, man, how is this horse doing that? And they did this big giant study, and what they discovered was that Clever Hans, the horse, was watching the person asking the question, and it was reading the body language of the person to realize when it was time to stop clicking his hoof. So it wasn't that the horse actually knew the answer.
Yeah.
It was that we give away certain signals daily that the animals are paying attention to, trying to predict what we are thinking or what we want. So, for example, if you're later tonight when you're watching television or you're sitting on your couch, look at your dog. You'll see your dog jump up in excitement thinking that you're about to ask him to go out or ask him to do things. Or, for example, I never spell the word W-A-L-K unless I'm going to take my dog for a walk. So now my dog knows not how to spell the word, but if they hear W-A-L-K, you're taking them for a walk. They only see you grab your car keys because you're walking away. there's ways around it too. And we teach it all the time, because when I was in law enforcement, we had to teach a lot of our canine handlers how the clever Hans effect can create bad judgment of the dog. So meaning that the dog would give false readings or would give us a bad a signal to us, right? So we had to teach them how they have to catch themselves. They had to study themselves so the dog does not accidentally get a cue off of you. So if we're looking for a bad guy, I don't want the dog to look at me and think that if I alert, I'm going to get a toy, because I need you to look for the bad guy. I don't want you to question that. So we had to teach people to reach in their pockets all the time. We had to teach people to not do the same gestures. We had to teach people how to do these things, because the dogs would signify this. So now when people think that their dogs are in trouble, if you think about it, if your dog knew that something was wrong, right, that means they wouldn't repeat it, because your dog lives for your attention and affection. So that means if they know when they did something wrong, they wouldn't do it. The reason why you think they know what it is because what they're doing is predicting your temper. So if you're about to yell, you gave out a body signal that's telling your dog it's time for them to cower, because you've changed your body language. So it's not that your dog actually knows that they're in trouble. They just studied your body gestures, and they realize that you're about to tense up and you're about to yell at them. So it's like the person back in the day that used to shove their dog's nose in the poop and say, "Don't poop there." And then they would come home later and he'd be like, "My dog knows he pooped. That's why he's running away." No, your dog knows that you're about to shove his face in the poop. It doesn't want that to happen. So they'd rather run away from you, because they've learned that if there's poop on the floor, you're going to shove their face in it. Not that going to the poop on the floor is bad, right? Because if you think about it, our dogs want to make us happy. That's why they're called man's best friend. Yeah. Right? So that means what they're doing all day long is trying to figure out ways to make us happy. So if we tense up, they're going to get nervous, because that's not what they want. They want us to be happy and joyful, because they want to be happy and joyful with us. Right? Dogs love us. They love everything about us. That's why I love being a dog trainer, is because no matter how bad life gets, no matter how bad anything gets, your dog is always there for comfort. They're always excited when you get home. They're always excited for that pet, the love, the anything. You could be having the worst day of your life, and your dog wants to be there to make it better. And that's what's great about them, is that we tend to humanize them, and they're not. They're better, because all they care about is the love, attention, and affection that you have to give, because they just want you to be successful in everything you are. Because as far as they are concerned, every moment with you is success. And that's what's great about it. So when they do mess up, don't worry about it. Just focus on how to make it better. Teach them what to do right instead of what they're doing wrong. Because the one thing I've learned, even as a retired police officer, is this. I've never met a person that knew how to get a job and work ever rob a bank. So if you were taught on how to get a job and how to make it rich and how to become successful in life, you ever notice you never commit crimes? So all you have to think about is, if you know what to do right, you never have to worry about doing it wrong. And remember, one of my favorite things is this: failure is the greatest step of success, because without failure, there is no success. So those are the things that I live by every day. And every moment I wake up, I always wonder, what next step do I have to take? Because I love failing, because failing is the greatest part of becoming successful. It's the greatest journey that you could possibly imagine. And I get to do it with dogs every day. Every single day I get to wake up and I get to meet somebody new. I get to meet a new dog, and I get to take on a new challenge with them to see how we can build a relationship between them and their pet like no other. Right. And it's amazing to meet all the amazing people that are out there in this world. I mean, we're blessed in this business. I think this year right now we're up to 400 people this year that I've gotten to work with, and it's an amazing journey. And I look forward to even building it up even further. So like with yourself, with your young golden doodle, the number one thing you're going to want to do is create your routines. So from the morning to night, create your routines to set your dog up for success, and never worry about what they're doing wrong, because if you focus on what you want them to do, they'll repeat it day in and day out. Because remember, your dog is just trying to make you happy, because that's all they want. They want you to be happy. Isn't that a neat little thing? Oh, you went digital. I'm losing you. But I'm not really sure what happened. I think I lost you, or you went digital. But I believe I'm still live on your show. So I don't know what happened. So I think I lost my host on the show. Hopefully she logs back on soon. I don't know what happened. I think I lost you, Sheila.
Michael. Okay, we are back.
Okay, we're back.
Yes, and our entire building went out.
Okay.
And back. So we are back. This is an example of a surprise. It could take us by surprise, and how you're going to react to it makes all the difference. So we'll be able to edit anything that didn't come out right, but I did hear everything. So that was really important. Yes, my dog was reading me.
Yeah.
When you think about it, she got a roll of toilet paper. I don't even know how it happened. I guess my daughter had placed it somewhere, unpacking the toilet paper and putting it around the house in the different restrooms. And she got a roll, and she had it all over everything within a second while I was on the phone, not looking right at her.
Yeah.
I was like, wait,
that's the key.
Quiet. What's happening? She's so quiet. And it was like, woo. and then she looked at me like, oh yeah, I did something wrong, but it was because of whatever she sensed coming from me when I was like, oh my goodness, what just happened to my room?
Exactly.
So, yes. Oh, that's so interesting.
Because if you think about it, she just had a great time with the toilet paper.
Oh, she sure did. She did not want to give it up.
And I guarantee she would do it again too, because it's not that was wrong. What was the difference was they saw your body tense, your mannerisms change, and that's what the dog started to read. And that's the key there, where if you think about it, if we taught the dog that, for example, one of the biggest things I call it, and we talk about it on my show a lot, is called dating your dog. Now, it's funny is that I took this course on relationships, and they talk about how if you want to have a successful relationship, you should date your wife. So that way you have a successful marriage, right? So you can't just court your wife, get married, and move on, right? You have to continue to date your wife. You have to take her out on dates and woo her and continue those things to make your relationship happen. And then I started realizing something about our dogs is one of the same, is that when we first get them, we spend a lot of time with them, we start doing things. But our dogs are creatures of extreme habit.
Yeah.
And what they do is they read everything of everything. And one of the funny thing about it is that we have our lives, we have our works, we have all these different things that keep us occupied. And this is where I call and I started saying that people should date their dogs. And if you set an hour a week aside to dedicate to your dog on the same day every week, your dog would be 10 times more well-behaved, looking forward to that date night, that 1 hour where you dedicate to all that time and attention. And so far, we've been talking about it for over 2 years now at Blue Line K-9. And we've been talking and preaching about dating your dog. And so far, everybody that we've told them to date their dog has had nothing but success with it. It's gotten rid of excessive compulsive disorders. It's gotten dogs off of Prozac. It's gotten dogs to stop mutilating themselves or mutilating the house. Because what happens is you take away all the dog toys from the house and they start earning them. And when they start earning them, giving them dedicated time to play with them by themselves, and then you have one essential game that you play with them once a week, they look forward to that game. They look forward to that hour. So no matter what the weather is, you just have to remember that it's their hour. So if it's raining, snowing, sleeting, you got to give them the Thursday night at 5 p.m. where you take them outside and play dedicated fetch. That means no cell phones, no nothing. And if you do this with your kids and your significant other, I guarantee you the life will get 10 times better as well. Because it's an amazing thing is how much, if you think about how many loved ones that are around us, our wives, our kids, our husbands, our significant others, and so on and so forth. But they don't want 24 hours with you. They just want one.
Yeah.
And if you think about taking it 1 hour a week and just giving it to them, they'll let you do whatever you want for the rest. You know?
Yes.
Well, your dog's no different. They love to see you feed them in the morning. They love that you take them for a walk. But if you give them that 1 hour a week that's just about them, they'll be the best well-behaved dog you could possibly imagine, because all they want is that 1 hour. You know, and it doesn't matter, like I said, the weather. That's the hard part for us is living in the East Coast here in Maryland. You know, our weather tends to not be the greatest. I like to call it the muddy state because of the fact that it literally seems like it's muddy here all the time. But it's an amazing thing is that no matter what the weather is, you dedicate that to your dog, and you'll be surprised. They won't chew your toilet paper. They won't pee or poop in the house. They won't do any of those negative things because of the fact that they're looking forward to that hour and they don't want to sacrifice it. So they want all that energy for that time frame.
Yeah.
So it's a neat little thing. So if you think about that toilet paper adventure, try to set that dog up just like you did tonight. Set an appointment with your dog and take him out for a date. And I guarantee you'll see a huge, huge difference in comparison with it.
That's such a good point. Now, what about selective hearing?
No such thing. No such thing.
So I will call my dog Maple. I'll say Maple, and when she wants to come over, she'll come over. But if she doesn't want to come over, she'll ignore me. But then I'll say, let's go for a walk. And boy, she's there in a second.
So let's think about what you just said. Ready?
Yes.
So you have so there's when you're training your animals or training in general, you have to think of where it comes from, right? So you have Pavlov, which is classical conditioning, and then you have Dr. Skinner's operant conditioning. Now, if you think about it, every time you mention the word walk, what has happened?
She gets to go for a walk.
You take her for a walk. She gets to go out and smell, spend time with you, enjoy your things, right? All these positive things. But what happens when you call her name?
Okay. Well, she might have to go to her crate, or she might have to go sit with us when she wants.
Better yet, it doesn't matter the rest, because what you just said was might. Might is not consistent. And remember, I said your dog is a creature of habit.
Okay.
Habits are only designed through consistency. So if you want your dog to have an instant response to their name, you have to teach them what response is that you're looking for. So with Blue Line K-9, we refuse to use the word no. We do not believe in it. I do not believe in a corrective marker, which means there is no such thing as correcting. I believe that the dog's name is a 4-point command. And what we mean by 4-point command, it means it's direction, correction, recall, and focus. So if I want my dog to do any one of those 4 things, I want to direct them, correct them, recall them to me, or focus on me, I'm only going to say their name 1 time. But I have to take 30 days, because it takes 30 days to create this habit, to teach my dog that their name means this. So just like a human being, I have to remind myself that I have to take the time to teach it. So it's a real simple drill. I tail my dog and I put him on a 15-foot leash. Or if I'm in my comfort of my living room or something like that, where they're in the same room with me, I'll say their name 1 time. So in this case, what's your dog's name?
Maple.
Maple. So I'm going to say, Maple. And then right when she looks at me, I'm going to go, yes, good girl. And I'm going to drop a treat directly on the floor in front of me. And when Maple comes running over to eat that treat in front of me off the floor, I'm going to pet her. Yes. Now, guess what photo Maple just learned? Maple just learned that when she hears her name, a treat is going to be dropped on the floor, and I'm going to give her love and attention when she gets in front of me. Mm-hmm. I repeat this drill 10 times a day for 30 days. On day 31, I say, Maple, her natural reaction is going to be immediately to run over without even worrying about the treat. Why? Because I just showed her that Maple means to stop what you're doing and come back and get love and attention from me.
Oh, that's so good.
So where does this come from? Great question, by the way, even though I just asked myself. It's this. When my son was born, it had this huge epiphany. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting there in the labor room, right? My wife just gave birth to my son, Travis. And over suddenly I say, hi, Travis, I'm daddy. My son does not speak English at this moment in time. He does not know anything of what I just said. Then my dad says, hi, it's Happy. Then my mom says, hi, it's Grandma. My mother-in-law says, hi, it's... And this goes on for an entire year. My son literally hears his name and positive energy for an entire year. Oh, Travis did poopies, right? And it's literally happens for an entire year. You know, you're a mom. Right. Remember this, your kids are growing up and you keep using this and using this and using this. And then over suddenly, guess what happens? They get older. And here's the craziest thing. Have you ever been to a store and somebody yelled out your name and you had no idea who they were? But you turned your head and looked?
Oh, yes.
We do it all the time.
Say mom. I'm like, oh, yes.
Right, yeah.
I adopted 3 and I have 3, so I'm 6. So, yes, I'm like, yes.
Yeah, you just, Mom, what? And then you're like, wait a minute, my kids are not even around, right? You're like, I'm in an airplane by myself, right? Or you hear it in your sleep. Well, the thing is that what that is called is classical conditioning. It's Pavlov. What has been told us that we have learned that we respond to that new name because it reminded us of something positive. In the end, we've gotten a reward. Well, in this case, we don't need to teach our dog to come, sit, and all these other things. We need to teach them that their name means direction, correction, recall, and focus. If I take the 30 days to say Maple and drop a treat in front of me, creating that muscle memory, that habit of classical conditioning, that every time she hears her name, she runs back to me. The second she goes to jump on one of my house guests, instead of me saying, no, get down, I'm going to say Maple. Because when Maple hears her name, she's going to stop the jumping up and run turn to me, which means I'm stopping the unwanted behavior and still rewarding and focusing on what? The reward of recalling to me. So I never have to correct my dog because I'm constantly teaching him how to be successful.
Incredible. Yes.
Pretty neat, right? So it's a neat little way of building a relationship, building your value, because here's the thing. If you become the ultimate reward to your dog, they're never going to want to leave you, which means you never have to correct them for pulling the leash, because if they're always looking at you because you've taught them that you're the ultimate value, they'll never pull the leash. They'll never try to run away. They won't try to jump on people because Maple means come back and get love.
Okay, so pulling on the leash, what do we do about that?
That's
the Maple thing? Or
yeah, it could be the Maple thing. Yeah, it could be. But the first things first is where we mess up. We have to always recognize is that when puppies are really young, we tend not to make them wear leashes because they don't run away. They're too little. They're too weak.
Yeah.
And the truth be told is if you have a dog that's under 6 months, they should never be unleashed. They actually should be dragging your leash at all times. And every time that the leash gets tight, they look at you like, because they're going to go, wait, why is that tight? They turn around and you go, yes. And then what happens, they'll come back to the leash learning how to follow the leash pressure. So you actually have to teach the dog that if they follow the leash instead of pull the leash, they get rewarded. So every time my dog pulls, I walk backwards. And then what happens is when the dog turns their head to figure out why I'm going backwards, I say, yes, good boy or good girl, and immediately start walking forward, teaching the dog how to slowly pace. So then what happens is the dog learns that in order to continue to take ground, because your dog is a predator, they want to take ground. they'll learn that they have to keep your pace in order to prevent the leash from getting tight. Because once the leash gets tight, they immediately lose ground, because instead of me turning around, I just walk backwards. That means they're giving up space instead of changing direction. If I turn around, we've changed direction, which means the dog has to go back into conquering, taking more ground, which means they're just going to speed by me again. By walking backwards, we are subtracting ground, which is degrading to a predator, because predators only take ground. They don't give it.
Wow, I've never heard of this. We're going to be doing this tonight when we take our walk after this show.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's an amazing little thing. And the other thing I'll tell you is master 10 feet before you go a mile. Your dog does not need to walk 10 blocks or a mile. You know, if you walk the distance of literally 10 feet back and forth until you get it right, your dog's still getting their steps. It's called a treadmill. You really don't need to walk the mile to get the mile.
Right.
You know? I remember an old saying is, how far can you run into the woods? It's a big question, right? How far can you run into the woods? You know?
Yes.
Halfway.
Right.
The other half, you're coming out. So if you're going to go for a walk, remember, don't just walk around the block. Don't try to walk that mile distance, because if you were unsuccessful the first half, you're really going to fail the second half. Master it by walking back and forth until you get the right pace that you're looking for, adding small amounts of ground of success. If not, you'll just fail the entire way.
Yes.
Take your time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty. I know that was a little signed off, right? But the name drill is going to, I bet you the name drill you're going to love for the next 30 days. That one's going to be your favorite.
Yes, I mean, all this is so great. And I can't wait to try it all with little puppy Maple, because she does give us so much love. Kids love her. We love her. And it's just, yet we don't know all these little things. And once you know, it's just, okay, that does sound pretty easy compared to all the work.
Yeah. It's really not. It's funny is that we talk about our slogan here is effective dog training made fun and easy. I truly believe that there's so many dog trainers that are out there, and there's so many competition in this industry that we as an industry have overcomplicated it, trying to compete for business, or I like to say, put the chips on our shoulders, right? So it's one of those things where we have a saying that if you put 3 dog trainers in a room, the only thing 2 of them can agree on is they don't like the third one. Yeah. So it's one of those things where you go on YouTube, you go on TikTok or whatever else is that's out there, you're going to get so much information and when you watch somebody else, it's going to contradict this, it's going to contradict that. And it's because a lot of us in the industry forget how simple and awesome it is. We get into this competition of who's better at demoing our dog, who has the better sit, who has the better looking dog, when the truth be told is what our clients are looking for is just how to love and appreciate their dog, to give them a safe and loving environment. And that's really where I believe we've taken Blue Line K-9. My staff is absolutely phenomenal. Like today we were designing our Dogtopia, and we were talking about how we want to paint. We have a tree in our backyard here at Bowwag, our location here in Joppa. We're going to call it the Game of Thrones corner. And then we're going to make a theme for Disney princesses. And we're going to have a dog bone pool and a Ghostbuster firehouse and all these things. And everyone's like looking at me, and I'm like, they're like, why do you want to do this? And I'm like, think about it. It's Dogtopia. It's sci-fi. It's enjoyable. It's life, love, and happiness. This is our entertainment that always brought us back to happiness. This is the things that as children, as adults, I mean, I'm getting to watch Ghostbusters and things like that with my kids now. This is a 1980s movie, right? Like, right. It's an amazing little feature. And if you think about what our dogs represent to us, it's our innocence. So if bringing them into this topia of happiness, safety, and enjoyment, how awesome is that to bring it all together? And that's where I think the industry really needs when we think about our education, is showing people, like I just showed you how simple one name, your dog's name Maple, is a 4-point command. When you have a 4-point command like that you're able to bring to your dog and literally solve 4 problems in one. Isn't it the way to go? That's incredible.
Yeah. And it's so much, I mean, I can totally see it working. Like, I have no doubt. It's just, okay, that doesn't sound too hard. No. And it's going to be interesting because we want that for our dog's safety. We want
exactly.
And other people's, like you said, if she's going to jump up or somebody's coming over, you want to be able to call your dog and have your dog just run right over to you or get out of the way of a car or something
Yep.
might happen. Maybe there's another animal that's
Exactly.
up. And so that's really important for safety, and so great. Now for your programs, you have an online program. Is that accessible everywhere, or how does that work?
Yes. So it's called BL K-9's Dog Owner University. You can go directly to the website of blk9dogowneruniversity.com to sign up, or you can give us a call at 1-800-266-2365. We'll be happy to sign you up. It's a virtual program. It's currently on sale for $500. It gives you a full membership to the entire course, and we actually send you all the equipment you're going to need to be successful. We send you the leashes, my books, the treats, everything that you're going to need to be a part of the program for the $500. It's a really great program because it really understands everything that we've covered, everything in this program that you really need to know as a dog owner, from desensitizing your dog to grooming, giving your dog baths. I mean, here are some little simple mistakes that people make all the time. They complain that they're never able to clip their dog's nails, but when they got the dog as a puppy, they never desensitized their dog to getting their nails clipped.
Oh, yes.
Right? Another big one that's very important is we include in our program, we include all the equipment that you're going to need, like a brush, for example. So one of the things that we tell people is that no matter what kind of dog you have, you should brush them every night. Mm-hmm. And people say, well, why would you do that? Well, I said, well, your dog can't brush their own hair. They can't comb themselves. They can't get rid of the knots. They can't get rid of those things. And what you don't realize that you're doing is a couple of things when you comb your dog every night. Number one, you're showing your dog that you love and care for them by grooming them. You're showing your dog that you are willing to take that time to dedicate to their well-being, which means the dog then in turn wants to be more with you. So you're building a value and a bond. The second thing that happens is you're desensitizing your dog to being groomed. So that means if you're checking them for ticks, bugs, fleas, hot spots, anything that could be wrong with them, they are now used to and desensitized to you touching them and rubbing on them because you're doing this once a night for about 3 to 5 minutes. Yeah. So they get used to this. If every time your dog comes in and once a night you groom them with the brush that we include, and then you rub their feet with the toenail clippers, they're going to let you, for the rest of their lives, clip their nails and trust you with grooming because you've taken the time to build a relationship little by little. And we go through this throughout the entire program. Even in my house, we have a ritual that when we get a new dog, that the dogs have to get fed a handful of food every night in the bathtub. And people are like, well, why would you do that? And I said, well, dogs hate bathtubs. So if you put them in the bathtub and they get to eat a handful of food there, and then after a couple of weeks, you start running the water, they get used to the sound, they get used to the noise, they get used to these things. Now, all of a sudden, when my dog's now played in the Maryland mud, I guess it's no big deal to go get him a bath because guess what he's used to now? Right? And it only took me 5 minutes. And now for the rest of my dog's life, I have no problems, no stresses, no worries, no worlds. Because of the fact that I took the little bit of time when we first brought them home to do these things and desensitize them to the car, desensitize them to the bathtub, desensitize them to brushing. It's getting them used to it. And that's what I think is great about our program is that not only did we lay it out for you in the program and get you showing you how you need to practice in your front yard, not just your living room, not just the bathtub, but we also put together the entire care kit you need to be successful. We literally put it all in there for you to open up the box you'll open it up in the mail. You'll have everything you need to be successful with your dog. And I think that's one of the best parts is because we literally took the guesswork out. So you don't need to get on Amazon and figure out what leash did he say? Did he say a 15-foot? Why would I get a 15-foot? We break it down. We show you how to hold it. We show you why you want to hold it a certain way. And it really does prevent tons of injuries and so many little things that we just tend to skip over a lot of times as new dog owners or young dog owners or rescue owners. I don't know if you know anybody that's ever rescued a dog, but those are some of the people with rescue dogs really struggle more than new puppy owners because they have a lot more baggage that they have to figure out.
Right.
And that's one of the things I could say with Dog Owner University, BL K-9's Dog Owner University, is that we really did break it down to show everybody why it's important to get these little things out and why it's important to do those things, because that's the way that we're going to become successful with our pets is literally 5 minutes a night, letting
Mm-hmm.
them know you care. Take that brushing, take that little time. And the best part about the Dog Owner University is you learn at your pace, and that's the fun part. You can keep going back and forth to it and really learn it.
Now, for new puppies, do you have a potty training portion?
It's all included. Yeah, you're going to get everything from because the big thing when we look at even puppies, potty training is something that actually happens their entire lives, right? I wish it was like humans where you could just teach them how to go in the porcelain toilet and call it a day, but it doesn't work that way. Every time we what's that? It would be nice
if they could literally use the toilet.
Yeah, it would be nice, wouldn't it? But yeah, potty training is a neat little thing that has to happen throughout the dog's life because of the fact that when you change your environment, if they have health issues, there's so many different things that go in. So it is included in the program, potty training itself. And the most important part that once again, goes back to what we were talking about earlier, is keeping your dog on a steady schedule. One of the big things that come up a lot, and I'm sure you probably even do this one, is the bells. Placing the bells on your back door to let the dog tell you they need to go out. The problem with that is what most people don't realize is now the dogs tell you when it's time for you to get up and open the door. Because half the time when they want to go yell at that bird in the backyard, the dog would come over, ring the bells, you get up, you open up your door, the dog goes running out in the yard, never even goes to the bathroom. Because really what you taught the dog was that you work for your dog, and when they ring bells, you're supposed to come. Because last time I've seen a show was called Have you ever seen the show Downtown Abbey?
Yes.
If you remember how they used to get their butlers, they'd ring the bell. Right?
Wow.
Think about that for a second. That means your dog is telling you, hey, it's time for you to come open this door. I need to go bark at somebody.
My goodness.
But the funny part is that our dogs, just like us, we go to the bathrooms pretty ritually. It's very standardized around the same time every day, at the same time every night. Your dog's no different. They're going to have to go to the bathroom in the morning, the afternoon, and in the evening. If you tell your dog when they go to the bathroom, it's at 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock at night, and 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you keep that ritual, your dog will never have to go out in between. They will get used to the routine. They'll understand that that's what's going on. That's the best way to potty train your dog, because if you ever have to go out or you're running late, obviously at 8 o'clock in the morning, your dog needs to go to the bathroom, 1 o'clock and 8 o'clock at night. That means you can always have friends or family or somebody else stop in to let your animal out to take care, so they can take care of business. Where if you do the bell method or the random method, you're setting your dog up for failure, because now they don't know that you're coming back or not coming back, and you don't know when that bells are being rung, because you're put the dog in control of the doorway, right? So just remember, if you give your dog a bucket of water, they're going to need to pee out a bucket of water.
This is true. This is true too. Yes.
Yep. So, dogs are in climate control living in your home. They don't really need a bucket of water. So if you give them 8 ounces, they got to alleviate 8 ounces. So just remember to bring that balance into what you're doing with your dog with potty training. But again, routines are the key. Routine. We have a thing here too, is you want to be consistently inconsistent to create consistency here at Blue Line K-9. And what that means is that you want to keep your life as consistent as possible, so that way your dog doesn't have to guess anything, but keep yourself inconsistent so your dog can't predict your commands. So,
oh, that's a good one. That's so good. That makes sense. That's incredible. And could you spell out, I wanted to really get that website so people could sign up for the training if they're interested in that.
Sure. Our actual main website is bluelinek-9.com. That's BLUELINEK-9.com.
Okay.
Or you can also go to, just go to that one, I guess. Yeah. So bluelinek-9.com is the best way to go.
Perfect.
And we can walk them right through every program we offer, and Dog Owner University, which is a great online program to get virtually trained.
Yeah, and it sounds like such an affordable rate and a great program that you have. If you have a new dog, you're going to pay one way or the other. If you don't train them, you're going to pay for repairs.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably all your time. So if you work together with a good program like the Blue Line K-9, program, then you're going to be able to have a lot of fun with your new pet. So that's wonderful, and it's been so helpful. I can't wait to share all this and try this with little puppy Maple at home.
Awesome. I look forward to hearing about it and telling
Yes.
me the success you have. So remember, for 30 days, you got to play with her name, right? So 10 times a day, 10 treats, 10 maples. 30 days. On the 31st day, I guarantee you'll be sending me a message telling me how quickly she's responding to it.
I love it. I love it. That is incredible. Thank you so much,
Awesome.
Michael. All right. And thank you for listening. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Okay.
If you are just tuning in, this is the Sheila Mack Show, reality at its finest. And today we were talking with a dog training specialist. And now there's something I would like to share with you. I am offering a special course. I've been doing this for quite a while now. This is a grief support 1-month course. It is for anyone that's grieving the loss of a pet, and also helping maybe their family get through the loss of their pet. And so our pets are part of our family, and they become an extension. And I think in a way it's a beautiful situation that we have when a lot of our pets don't have the lifespan we do, and when they cross over, it still is really a difficult time, but it also gives us connection and a time to reflect and celebrate beautiful memories. And so if you are looking for a support group, we meet once a week, and I'd love for you to attend. And also grab a copy of my latest book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. Now, this book has topics on many different situations that have hit us this year in 2020 and now 2021. And as we rebuild and reinvent our lives going into 2021, it's a great way to start the new year. So grab a copy of the book. It is available on Audible, Amazon, Kindle, and at www.sheilamack.com. Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom and back into action in any situation, is now available. The heart of this book was written for you. If you're going through a tough situation this year, if you've hit a rock bottom, I want to let you know that number one, you are not alone. And next, that you can, in fact, reinvent and reboot your life on your terms. And that was a portion of Chapter 10 in my bestseller, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom and back into action in any situation. Grab a copy on Amazon, Audible, or Kindle, or you may get it at my website, www.sheilamack.com, and there you will also find a free Introduction to the Boots Formula course just for you.